The Nigerian government is advised to retrace its steps in the fight against insecurity as it has taken a new phase. This has brought various security experts together at this annual conference organized by the Association of Industrial Security and Safety Operators of Nigeria, ASCON. The security conference is aimed on the theme, redefining the threat environment, where concerned stakeholders analyze insecurity factors and measures to combat them. Adeshawa Odushaga now reports.
Insecurity in Nigeria is taking a new phase from the usual practice of banditry, robbery and terrorism. The presence of political and socio-economic inequality is promoting a new form of violence, further threatening an already frail security situation. To address this, security experts in the country have organized this conference to brainstorm and come up with possible solutions to these challenges.
Our challenge here is not to focus on political environment. That's not our major focus. It's not to look at the economic environment, issue of stock exchange, border closure, which can be an issue. But we are supposed to deal with the threat environment. And the issue now is, how do you determine, how do you define, how do you articulate an environment that is threatened? In other words, what are the dynamics of a threatened environment?
In the early 60s, like I mentioned earlier, you have the Operation Wet here, the burning and looting and arson in the western region. It has not abated. And one would have thought that as we grow up, as we mature, so to speak, we should learn to do away with these things. Now there is this principle of do or die that has been espoused in some quarters. It's the principle of do or die. So the politicians are taking advantage of this very horrible principle, to influence election through electoral violence. Now, have we looked at the flashpoints? When Honor speaks about security, he talks about mapping, intelligence mapping. You have to prepare. You have to map your flashpoint areas and deploy, because we don't have enough security agencies to man our elections. This is the truth.
Nigeria has been consistently threatened by the high rate of corruption, mismanagement, low exchange rate of the naira, high inflation and low industrial capacity. These threats, no doubt, have implications for Nigeria's security, as indeed a viable economy is essential for the survival of a nation.
Majority of the security forces have been sustained by very few greedy individuals who should pretend over the resources meant to prosecute this war. And I say those who engage in such atrocities are criminals. Criminals! Funds are allocated for prosecuting this war to some few people who are supposed to distribute these resources to make sure that this war is effectively policed, and some people corner those resources. And when the anti-graft agencies are trying to prosecute those people, some people rise, some elements out of ignorance rise in defense of such people. In some other crimes, such people are executed.
And what we want to do here is have a new look at the kinds of threats that we are facing in Nigeria, and what are the elements of that threat, what are the threat matrices, and how do we begin to get our hands around the threats. Because what we find right now is that the threats seem to be mutating, that is changing in form, and they seem to be accelerating, they seem to be increasing quite rapidly. So this time last year, for example, nobody was talking about kidnappers coming out of the bush to kidnap people. But now that's the conversation today. This time last year, we weren't talking about people kidnapping people from rural areas of Abuja. But now that's the conversation. So there are so many threats.
To effectively improve Nigeria's security situation, the federal government has been charged to ensure a highly vibrant and industrialized economy, which will in turn increase military power and capability as well as other vital areas of national development. Adeshawa Odushaga, TV 360 Lagos, Nigeria.